Good morning and welcome to Byers Principals Updates. I'm Dan Park, the principal of Byer High School, and here's the things you need to know today. Seniors, first of all, let me remind you that graduation will be May 25th at 6 p.m. at Johansen High School. Now that's if it's live. If it's not, we are still conducting a virtual graduation. And either way, you're going to need your graduation attire, your cap and gown, etc. Please go to jostens.com. If you haven't already, please go to jostens.com and place your order for those items. Those items will be delivered to the school April 7th, and we will be conducting a drive-through pickup for those items from 1 to 3. Jostens will be here with those items. If you get your order in time, you can pick it up that day, so please don't delay. Go and get that done. Freshmen, I know that many of you are concerned about the return to school. Most of you have not been on the campus for very long at all, if at all. So I'm planning a Teams meeting next Wednesday. I will send you an invitation. It will be in your school email account. Look at your school email, and you can come and ask questions, and I'll give you as much information as I can. That's next Wednesday at 11. We want to make the transition smooth for you. I want to say congratulations to the Associated Student Body Officers that you elected for next year. You elected ASB President Ava Infantino to serve next year as your president. You've selected Ailey Brodlow to serve as your vice president, and you selected Joseph Richmond as your treasurer, and Taryn Lemmings as your secretary. Congratulations to those individuals. I also want to say congratulations to two outstanding Byer students who were the recipients of this year's Eddies Awards. Now, the Eddies is a district program in which each school in the entire district recognizes two students. They're recognized because of their character and their perseverance, etc. This year, Byer selected these two students, Darius Murphy and Joshua Steinberg. Congratulations to both of them. Now, the return to school has prompted a lot of questions, and I sent a link out to families last week asking you to give me your questions. And thank you. There were a number of very good questions, and I want to answer as many of those as I can today. My plan is to answer some of those questions today, answer some more of those questions next Tuesday, and then come back a week from today, and answer as many as I can at that time as well. Hopefully during the next 3 sessions, we can answer as many of your questions as you might have. First of all, one of the first questions, and I think I just answered it, is my child is a freshman and nervous, and I get that. They've not been on campus. They're nervous in the best of times. What are you going to do, Mr. Park, to help them transition? We are meeting with them next Wednesday. We'll be answering as many questions as we can. We're also working on some other things, hopefully to help that transition go smoothly. So can I have my daughter attend class virtually without any days on the campus? So here's how that works. You absolutely can choose to keep your child home all 5 days once we return. It is set up to have students here 2 days a week and then at home the other 3. So there's 2 cohorts, cohort A and cohort B, and they were strictly divided by alpha. We're under strict guidelines by the state of California, the county health board, etc., on the number of students we can have in each room based on the size. So we divided the alpha straight down the middle. I believe it's divided A through L and M through Z. And students in A through L are in cohort A. Students in M through Z, if your name is M through Z, you're in cohort B. Students in cohort A would come Monday and Tuesday. All students do virtual work on Wednesday. And then cohort B, students with alpha names M through Z, would come on Thursday and Friday. You do not have to send your child any of those days, though. If your child is in cohort A, which means they would come Monday and Tuesday, if they chose to come, they cannot choose to come onto the campus on Thursday and Friday. They strictly have to come in the cohort days that they're assigned. Now, there's some questions about Mr. Park. I'm the guardian of 2 children who live in my home, and they have different last names, and they happen to be in different cohorts. We have assigned it to where your students will be in the same cohort. That's not an issue. We can't have that issue going on. If you don't know the cohort you're in, you can certainly have your student ask their teacher. They know the cohorts they will be in. Or I gave you the alpha just a moment ago, and again, that's cohort A is alpha A through L, and cohort B is alpha M through Z. Or you can simply call the school and we can tell you as well. Let me see, some other parents want to know, here's a great question. How will students do PE outside if it's raining? And will they have a place to change? Unfortunately, the guidelines say we cannot use the locker rooms or the lockers in the locker rooms. So PE teachers are making adjustments. We do want to provide your students with the opportunity to have some activity. That will not be strenuous activity by any stretch. There will be no strenuous activity. So I do suggest that your students, if they have PE, dress casually each day and wear some comfortable shoes. I wouldn't wear your most expensive Nikes or anything like that to where they would be messed up on the grass or on the track. So students might be doing things like walking the track or playing golf, frisbee, or things like that. Outside activity, getting some air, getting some movement, but nothing really strenuous. So no, they won't be changing. Another question was, do I have to notify the school if I want my child to come on Monday and Tuesday, or if I'm not going to let my child come on Monday or Tuesday or Thursday and Friday? In other words, if I choose to keep my child at home, do I have to notify the school? No, you do not. Again, the only guidelines are you can't let your student come to the cohort days that they're not assigned to, but in theory, your child does not have to come to any day when the school resumes. They can do all of their learning from home virtually, and you don't have to notify anyone. That's not a problem. Can we keep the current block schedule? And I know that was some questions several of you had. There's the schedule is something that is developed contractually. It's not something simply that one person makes that decision, but it is a contractual development, and it's something that is done in consultation with teachers and a teachers union. So it's not just a simple decision, one person making that decision, and the decision was made for Bayer to come back in what's called a traditional schedule. When your students are on campus or virtually either one, the periods will be 50 minutes in length. How will contact tracing be addressed, and do kids move around the campus? Those are great questions. So teachers are developing very prescripted seating charts, and students have to sit in their assigned seats, so that if, on the off chance, a student becomes ill with COVID, then we have seating charts for every classroom that student was in, and we know the students around that student that they're in the classrooms that they're in. The desks are set up socially distanced. We've removed a number of chairs and desks out of classrooms in preparation for this. Remember, only half the student population will be here at any time, and so we've removed ample desks to provide social distancing in the classrooms. Yes, students will be moving around, but students and staff are always required to wear a mask the entire time they're on the campus. Very important. That's required. It's not a school policy, but it is a state of California directive and the county health department directive. So all students will be wearing masks as well as staff. Students will be moving around, but staff will be reminding them to socially distance at all times. That's even at lunch. The old sitting at the table with 9 or 10 of your friends, in the current situation we're in for the next few months, that won't be a possible. Even at lunchtime, students will have to socially distance. So yes, contact tracing is being addressed, and we're doing everything we can to keep everyone safe with social distancing, masks. Here's one thing I forgot to mention. Each student desk will have plexiglass on 3 sides. So they're ensuring that if they coughed or sneezed, that it could not go beyond the plexiglass and affect other students. So there's a lot of steps that have been taken to ensure the safety of students. I think that's all the questions we're going to answer today to keep it short. I'll be back on Tuesday with more questions and answer more questions. If there's other questions that have come up because of this video, please, you still have the link. Go online and submit those questions, and we'll do our best to answer them next week. Thank you, and have a great weekend.